Greetings and welcome to this edition of
Positronic.
I'm Barry P. Cook. Let's talk about the latest episode of What If. It was called What If Ultron 1. So at the end of the previous episode, we saw Ultron show up with all the Infinity Stones in Vision's body. And I was like, oh, that's dumb. They're never going to continue this story. Well, I said that because they'd done things like that before where they'd shown certain things and then it's a cliffhanger and you know they're not going to do another episode and they haven't. That picks up from there. But this one did pick up from the previous episode, even though I didn't think it would. So it starts out with Clint and Widow, who are fighting a fleet of Ultron bots or Ultron drones outside the Kremlin. In a flashback, Ultron, whose voice actor sucked at impersonating the original actor, acquired Vision's body and wants to wipe out mankind with nukes, which he launches globally. After wiping out most humans, Thanos arrives, only to be taken out by Ultron, who acquires the rest of the Infinity Stones at this point, and goes about destroying all organic life everywhere, planet by planet. Carol has a go at him, Captain Marvel, but fails as he wipes out planets with a thought, leaving himself alone, in the whole universe, at which point he becomes aware of the Watcher. Clint and Widow, meanwhile, look for an AI that they can use to stop Ultron. They're trying to find where this AI is, and they're looking in the KGB archive as the Watcher looks on and almost intervenes as they waver and almost give up, but then end up finding it, and it's Arnim Zola. Ultron finds the Watcher and attacks him. Clint and Widow upload the AI that they've found into an Ultron drone so that he can then upload to the hive mind and attack Ultron from the inside, but he can't reach it. It's out of reach, probably because Ultron's in an alternate dimension fighting the Watcher. Widow ends up holding Clint over a ledge when she grabs him before he falls into a pit of drones that are flying upward, trying to get through a shield that he had previously dropped. But he breaks her grip and falls down to the pit just as they break through the shield, and he blows up the drones and himself. I thought that was a very cool moment because it was a flip of what happened in Infinity War, where Cliff is holding Widow over a ledge because she ends up falling off, and he didn't want her to be the one to sacrifice herself for the Soul Stone. He wanted to do it. But she basically is like, no, I'm doing it. I've come a long way and I've got to finish making up for all the red in my ledger. And she lets go and sacrifices herself for the Soul Stone. So I thought that was a very cool thing they did, that they flipped it to see it from the other side in a different circumstance in the what if scenario. So I thought that was very cool. Ultron and the Watcher continue their fight as Galactus consumes the plane that they're fighting on, at which point they fall to Earth, which keeps changing from one scenario to the next. It's like watching the Earth be taken over by a wave of alternate universe timelines all at one time, like one after the other, I mean. So it was pretty cool. But during this fight, Ultron is basically pummeling the Watcher, and the Watcher ends up somehow inside the mini universe where Strange wound up. Doctor Strange had wound up in a previous episode, the little ball universe that he ends up in by himself. So I'm thinking in the next episode, which I think is the last one of the season, it's either the last one or the next to last one, the two of them are going to team up and they're going to have to beat Ultron that way, or they're going to have something to do with beating Ultron. So this is actually a very cool episode. I haven't thought much of many of the episodes, but this one was pretty cool. It had that great moment with Widow and Clint. It had the original voice actor playing Zola, and he just creeped me out in the movie that he was in, and he creeped me out again. But having that character in it was very cool. There are some questions, though, because apparently the Infinity Stones only work in the universe that they're from. So how did they work in all these alternate universes where he kept destroying planet after planet? And how did they work, in whatever plane of existence he made it to when he found the Watcher? So those are some questions, but this was a great episode, and I'm interested to see how this particular storyline wraps up. I will be back with a review of any remaining episodes that there are. Until then, I wish you all peace and long life.